Right, so vandag het ons vir julle ietsie interessants. Ons is hier so in Hilton by Afrivet Labs, soos julle kan sien. En ons gaan 'n bietjie deurloop oor wat doen hulle, hoe doen hulle dit en waar doen hulle dit. Kom ons gaan kyk bietjie in. Hello Caryn, how are you?
Hi Albert, good, thank you. Welcome to the Afrivet Laboratory.
Thank you. So tell me a bit more about yourself.
So I'm Caryn Shacklock, I'm one of the technical vets with Afrivet Training Services and I manage the laboratory and I'd love to show you around.
Okay, let's take a look. The people sign in, obviously.
This is where we sign in, this is our beautiful reception. I'd love to show you our artwork.
Oh, renostervoors. the natural tick.
Exactly, natural tick control. Right, so we start in sample receiving. When our Afrivet agents or a farmer or a vet brings us some samples, they come in here for processing. We fill in all the paperwork. If it hasn't been written down, it hasn't been done. Right, and then depending on what sample type we receive, it comes through to one of our 3 laboratories.
So this is the main room, if you can put it like that.
Yes, this is the tick room. So this is where we do acaricide resistance testing on ticks. So if a farmer's battling with tick control and he wants to know if his ticks are resistant to a certain type of active, he will send us adult engorged female ticks. I'm not sure if you can see those in there. They are starting to lay eggs already. So what will happen is the farmer will collect ticks off his animals, send them to us. We incubate them in this very high-tech incubator for about 6 weeks. Okay, and then the eggs hatch into larvae, and these nice, healthy, viable larvae head north like they would do in the veld.
That's interesting.
They would climb to the top of a blade of grass and wait for a host to come past. Then we know they're ready for testing, and what we do, I won't go into the details, but we submerge them in the different active ingredients that we can find on the market at different concentrations, and we figure out what products these ticks are resistant to, and then we can advise the farmer which products are best for him to use to manage the tick burden on his farm.
And then I also see you've got some samples down here. What exactly is going on down here?
We actually have a whole museum, a whole collection of different species of ticks that we can find in Africa. We've preserved them in ethanol, and sometimes we bring them out for fun.
Scaring guests.
Yeah. All right, it's come through. So this is where we do helminthology, that is worms. Selena here is our technician in the lab, and what she's doing is fecal egg counts. Would you tell us what you're doing, Selena?
Hi Selena, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
So, like you said, tell me a bit more about what we're doing over here.
I'm doing basically a fecal worm egg count to test for resistance in helminthology. So a farmer brings in samples, dung samples, and then we test whether their product is working or not.
So I know it's not only resistance testing you do, you guys do a lot of work regarding wireworm as well.
Yes.
Tell me a bit more about that.
So we do a lot of wireworm work here in this laboratory. It's based only for our clients, and we tell them when to treat the animals and when to vaccinate. Lots of our agents that are visiting the farms take that information that they get from our vets and relay that to the farmers, and then in turn they know when to treat and then when to vaccinate.
Okay, thanks for taking a second to talk to us.
Thank you.
So this WireVax is something that's quite interesting. Tell me a bit more about the product itself and why it makes the impact it does in the farming community.
So WireVax is an amazing product that vaccinates, that immunizes sheep against wireworm, which is one of the biggest threats that our small stock face in the country. And we're finding that the dewormers aren't working so much anymore because they're developing resistance. So what WireVax does is it actually confers immunity to the sheep against the worm. And what we do in the lab is we support those farmers that are using WireVax by doing fecal egg counts to see what their worm burdens are like and advising them when they can use anthelmintics.
And that's all it's about, just trying to help the farmer survive, because one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is South Africa is a very, very hospitable place to try and farm.
Exactly.
Let's go to the next room.
Let's carry on with our tour. Come through. This is my favorite room in the house because it's got
the technology,
the fancy machine. Okay, so this is our HPLC machine, which is high performance liquid chromatography. And what we do with it is farmers will send us dip wash samples from their dip tanks, and we're able to run them through the HPLC machine to test the concentrate of the active ingredient in the dip wash. Often farmers assume that a product isn't working, but in reality, one of the problems might be they're not using it at the correct dose. So we test those dip wash samples with our machine, we get a report, and we're able to advise the farmer that he needs to adjust his tank by adding a certain extra volume of product, brings it up to strength, and then he can carry on controlling his ticks that way. So it's a whole holistic approach to tick management that we do here in the lab.
Yeah, because one of the things is my nephews down in the Karoo, they dip a lot as well. And sometimes you don't get the results you necessarily thought you should. And then it's just that little bit of concentrates that's mixed up together. But so this machine behind you, as a mechanical engineer, I love machinery. So talk me through the process of how it basically analyzes the dip wash and you get the results that you need.
All right, so this is a typical sample that we'll receive from a farmer.
See the perfect branding.
Yeah, it's very dirty. Ideally we want our samples in these bottles. Anyway, so what we need to do is first extract the active ingredient out of this. It goes through a process where we mix it with chemicals and we filter and we extract the active ingredient and we put it in one of these little analytical bottles and into our machine.
And then once it goes into the machine,
the sample gets pushed through this column where UV light is bounced through it, and the concentration of the active ingredient is measured in a peak on this graph over here.
And then you basically from that analyze the results and
we're able to compare it to a known amount on the standard, and we can see what the concentration of that active ingredient in the sample is, and we can then advise the farmer whether he needs to adjust his tank by adding more dip, or sometimes it's overstrength and he's then A, wasting money, and B, putting his animals at risk of overdose, and then we can advise him to add more water.
So we've been through the lab, but there's one thing I want to ask you. What makes Afrivet different? What makes Afrivet the farmer's choice?
Oh, Afrivet. I've worked for Afrivet for 7 years now, and it is a company that I'm passionate about and I'm so loyal to because we are invested in our farmers. We we don't want to sell products without the knowledge and information that goes along with that product. And so our training services and our diagnostic services really, I think, set us apart from other companies. Most of our agents have been with Afrivet for a really long time. They're so knowledgeable. I'm learning new things from them every day. And that's all made available to the farmer. This lab service is made available to the farmer free of charge because we are so passionate about supporting the sale of our products with good information and proper training.
Thanks for taking the time to invite us over here, and yeah, good luck with the testing and the ticks and everything, and all of the best.
Thanks, Albert. It was good to have you.
Right, so daar het jy dit. Op die einde van die dag, hier is ons 'n laboratorium wat jou help om op jou plaas die beste besluite te kan maak. Van dip tot bosluise tot wurms, alles wat vir jou plaag, kan jy hiernatoe kom en jy kan hulle dienste gebruik en jy kan seker maak dat jy 'n oplossing vir jou plaas kry wat werklik gaan werk. Dit is FarmSpace, hoor en uit.